So recently, I found out, or I heard about this story, this article, this kind of depressing, kind of sad, kind of traumatizing article, that Egypt has arrested 5 young teenage girls, basically based off their TikTok posts. They have described that the way that they are acting, I believe one of them was singing a K-pop song and dancing in it. I'm not really sure what happened to the other ones, but they've been described as being indecent. And now they are in jail. I believe they've gotten like 3 to 5 years. Don't quote me on that, but they are in jail for an undisclosed time. And of course, obviously, there are protests all over the world, and there are people who are upset about this all over the world. Now, I'm not interested in having a conversation about whether that's wrong or right, because I think we can put a bottom line and underline and say that that's wrong, right? But what I do think that there is an interesting point is that what I'm taking from the story is that Egypt is saying, as a country or as a government, as a political system, we have a way that we act in this country. What they're saying is that we have a way that we act in this country. And I feel like we all kind of have that in a different sense. Like even our country has that. And the one place that the rules that you may behave by on a normal basis, on the train, on the bus, in the grocery store, in the mall, the way that you speak to people, the way that you react to people, the one place that the rules are different is on social media. So we don't agree with Egypt. We can put that out there. But how indecent is social media? Like, I mean, I see things on social media all the time that make me feel sad about humanity, about my community, about other parts of the country, about other parts of the world. I know you've dealt with like stories and like weird things on social media. So I guess I'm just asking you on the most bottom line, do you think social media is indecent? And if so, how indecent?
So I think it's relative, but I would say I don't think it's indecent at all. I think that it's amplifying what's happening in life. I mean, strictly, it's amplifying what's happening in real life. Because prior to this, to acquire mass content, you only had a few mediums. You had the daily newspaper, and the 24-hour news cycle is new. So I think people, and it's controlled by a network. Social media, while it has some parameters, it's pretty much a free market. And I encourage it. Look, I want to see how people really are. Like, I think social media is an excellent tool. Whenever I hear people say bad things about it, I cringe. When I see Mark Zuckerberg on TV having to defend some of his choices, I get sad. Like, you know, if social media didn't exist, I wouldn't have a career.
So I ask you because, I mean, obviously I understand that, and this is why I wanted your perspective on it, because I do think you are one person who's obviously using the tools of social media and the values of social media to your advantage. But that's also because you understand how these systems work. You understand the ins and outs of it. You understand that when you press A, even though it's called something, it might mean something else, and it results to B. And my biggest issue with social media has not always been around, but it really came in when the algorithm changed. So I can't stand it anymore. I'll be honest. I'm not interested in scrolling through Instagram anymore because, one, I understand that the content that I'm putting out, it's not organic anymore because it's based on the more time I spend on this social media app, the more people will see what I'm actually putting out because it's rewarding me for spending all of my time on social media. But The other aspect is that it's rewarding all of my bad habits as well. The social media, the easiest thing to see is like a beautiful girl, and to stop and stare at a beautiful girl for 30 seconds. If I do that once, now my whole page is just beautiful girls, because it is designed for me to stay on the app for as long as possible. And in my life, I would not be following those things. These advertisements would not be popping up. So it is literally at all times trying to push my temptations, trying to push my buttons. How do you feel about that to somebody who's unskilled and doesn't have the same knowledge and maybe technical skills that you have?
It's music to my ears, because the algorithm on the consumer side, I think we need to separate the tools of the different social media mediums and the actual idea of social media. So when you ask me social media indecent, when I hear social media, I hear a digital way to socially connect. Within that, you have Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, you have Twitter, whatever. So within the actual apps, the algorithm change is music to my ears, because as a digital marketer, you making these actions on your platform allows me to target you. So I think what you're experiencing is good service, and it's just goes against your current temptations. What better way than to have, right now when we are looking for things and we need to solve solutions, we need to solve problems, we go on the internet, we go to Google, we put a Google search and hope for the best. What better service is to be able to feed in my keywords and my habits into the internet, and they serve me with things I want. Yeah, it may be products that I don't need. It may be photos that I don't need to see right now, but as a service, you're providing me with the stuff that I need. And so I see it, what you're complaining about, I see it as that's like having a concierge.
That's constantly asking you to pay them.
Yeah, because we get advertised all the time.
Billboard,
I think the problem is, I think what it is that like billboards and commercials, those are direct advertising, and people know that when they see a billboard, I'm being advertised to. When I see a commercial, I'm being advertised to. Social media allows you to be clever about the way you're receiving sales messaging. So you just feel violated because you got.
Because it works.
It works.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
it's really an impulse control than it is anything else.
But so with that being said, is it not changing the impulses of our country? Because that is why Egypt put down the line that they put down. They're saying that this social media is allowing these people to feed into their impulses, and that will therefore make our culture more indecent. Now,
I think there's an argument to be made for that, because the United States, while I love the fact that we're a free country and we have free speech, and we have the freedom to have guns and the freedom to vote and the freedom to become a president if I want to, there's a case to be made for the cultural advancement of our actions, or lack of advancement of our actions. But where I come from in my mental space, where I'm like, it's not my problem. It's not my problem.
Yeah. And I'm on a different side of the fence where I'm like, come on, guys. I'm not going to lead you there, but come on. But you're right. We all take different stances in that. But as long as you kind of understand it and you make a decision of your own temptation and you have your own control over that, I guess that's what you're saying at the bottom line. Is like, if you are impulsive and the social media is making you more impulsive, then that's something else would make you that impulsive anyway.
Well, it's not the social media. It's the message behind the person putting out the content. So that's just good advertising. Social media is just the tool.